gonna kill that then. Howdy, Boris. Sorry for being a little late. Took a little longer to set up this morning than I expected. It could be because I'm freezing cold out here. Let me make sure I represent myself fully and correctly. Close all that. I've got one app that says 17 degrees Fahrenheit. The one on my phone says it's 16 degrees Fahrenheit. I brought out the biggest pipe I own. Haven't even filled it, so I'm taking the extra time. Plus all the extra setup and all that. I've been out here about 10 minutes already. I'll know how cold I am just here in a second. I'm going to show you how cold it is. It's pretty chilly. It is pretty chilly, but I got my friend Boris here. He knows more about cold than, he's forgotten more about cold than I'll ever know. And in case y'all are watching out for Finnish words, I know that the first word he put in there was uva. And the next part is like huminta. Huva huminta. Which, if I remember correctly, that's good morning. Now, Boris is in Finland. He is, at least as far as my live streams go, my resident king of the cold. And I'm not talking about that sick feeling. I'm talking about just straight up, downright, ain't no way in hell I'm ever going to be able to survive in what he calls a normal average day. And then he'll go out on his balcony and smoke and then tell us about, oh yeah, it's like negative 12 there in where you are. Oh my God. Boris, I appreciate you, brother. He's normally a night owl, so I know this is sometime right after noon for him. Which means he probably set up special just to come cheer me on, and I doubly appreciate that. Okay, so this cup, you can see a little bit of steam coming up off of it right now. I fresh brewed this, and I'm going to tell you right now, is the last thing I brought out. Okay. It's already just barely lukewarm. The whole cup of coffee. Horrible. That's what this kind of cold weather will do. It'll take scalding hot coffee and turn it lukewarm in less than 10 minutes. Love a good pipe in the morning, though. Pipe and a cup of coffee. Hey, 2 people in. Howdy, howdy. Oh. if y'all want to see, yes, I am wearing 3 hats again, basically. Keeping the cold out of the ears. I am wearing a bunch of layers. I am feeling kind of like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. But, Mike at Briar Blues. My other king of cold. Morning, Mike. It's got to be a little after 2 a.m. where Mike is. Little chilly this morning, Mike. But if y'all are waiting to see ice crystals form on me, you're going to be waiting a while, because I am intent on staying warm as I can. Well, it's not Wednesday yet. You said that you sleep good on Wednesdays. I set an alarm for this. I did this on purpose. 17 degrees. My phone says it's 16. I'm not trying to brag or nothing. I chose the one that, to prove it, that says whichever one is warmer. Doesn't look like it's going to get down to the single digits. Me, sick puppy? Yeah, well. As long as I can angle this so that I can tell if it's actually smoking or if it's just residual heat. I honestly can't tell you if the pipe is warm or not. Yeah. Though I can tell you that if it does get warm, I'll be surprised. So here we go. If y'all remember yesterday, I said cigars are pretty much out when it gets below freezing, because they do tend to tar up a little bit faster. Now, that's not always going to be true. Some cigars are really, really going to be dry enough that you're not going to have that problem. Problem is, they burn like a twig fire. I mean, it's all hot, boom, and then it's done. I've never been for cigars that have such little substance. And I am going to drink this coffee before it turns to a icicle or a slushy. I don't much care for cold coffee. And this is like literally sticking a cup of coffee in the deep freeze and watching it ice up as you go. I never finish a cup of coffee that fast. So one of the good things about the pipe is you can clench on it, continue to smoke on it. Even the big pipes. Now, of course, The big heavy pipes will probably pull your teeth out of your mouth if you ain't careful. But as you can see, I can tuck the smaller digits up in here into my sleeve. Woo! Is that the MacBaron vanilla cream? I'm pretty sure that's what you're specifically saying. But Boris, I don't know what temperature it is there in Finland, but I can't imagine it's much warmer. If it is warmer. But this is kind of, in a way, my tribute to Boris, who shows a bunch of us weak Americans how to be strong in cold weather. I've been seeing it for months now, where he's been talking about, oh yeah, it's like 0 degrees or worse Fahrenheit. Or he'll be telling us, oh, it's only -21 Celsius. Oh, you feel like you have problems, and then you hear something like that. Makes you think you don't have that many problems. I will tell you, and I might see if I can show it to you here a little bit. There's this plastic bag that we put over a plant that normally sits right where I'm sitting. Oh my goodness. Yes, but you're in the daylight. By the time it gets to noon here, it'll be almost 33, 34 degrees. So it's going to be warmer here. But right now is the coldest point of this specific year. I can go back probably 12 years and could not find a spot where it would be considered colder than it is right now. At least not here in the Houston area. That's not to say it doesn't get cold in other places. That's just to say that Houston never sees this level of cold. There's some 1 million and a half people that are without power tonight in this cold. I worry about them a little bit. I'm lucky enough that I live on the same grid section as the police and fire station here in my little community. Those are always going to get first priority, and that means my house is going to get first priority. Unless the line specifically goes down between the police station and here, I'm almost always going to have power. kind of chose because of a building plan from 8 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, Boris, I feel for you, brother. I feel for you. I agree, Mike. Having a natural gas fireplace of some sort would be a great help. I actually do have natural gas here at the house, uh, so I could turn on a stove and cook stuff, and we have a fireplace, so that can always be used. Uh, haven't actually had a need to use the fireplace in years. We thought about using it this time, but didn't feel like calling the company out here to clean it so that we could use it for 2 days and then pack it back away and then have them come back and clean it again. See, around around here in Texas, if we have a wood burning fireplace, what we actually call it is a barbecue smoker. We'd never use it for an actual fireplace. It's uh, I say that, that's a lie. Some people will actually use a wood burning fireplace uh, as a fireplace. Only person we're missing is Phil from Briar Report. I figured he'd be up by now. He's normally up by this time of day. Oh, goodness. Ah, Boris, stay safe, brother. Stay safe. I, I don't know how else to say it. And if you're having to deal with wind chill, remember, wind chill can actually do more damage than the actual temperature. Because cold and stable, you can actually almost shiver yourself enough heat to stay warm. With a steady wind, though, even that layer of warmth that will build up right around the top layer of your skin will just push past and drift through. It's gone. I can tell you I'm starting to feel a little bit of heat in the pipe, and that's one of the best feelings in the world when you're cold. Now, I am smoking a little faster than I normally would. I'm sure I am. But it's a little harder for me to gauge. Am I keeping it lit? Am I letting it go out? because any amount of heat is going to create some sort of steam or smoke in this temperature. Therefore, I have to just go by the heat of the cob and hold on real tight and hope that I don't heat it up too fast. Well, with the wind chill, if I get to the wind chill, like right now it's a dead calm, but we are still about an hour before sunrise, which I might still be on at that point. When sunrise hits, that wind will pick up, even on a dead calm day. This is something I learned many years ago out hunting. A dead calm day, you will have wind with the sunrise and the sunset. Natural convection, the world causes it to happen. I don't know why. No clouds in the sky, no air movement at all. At sunrise and sunset, you will have air movement. That's why right at sunrise is normally the coldest hours of the day if you have a steady cold. I just had to judge this by, it said it was getting colder. I was going to come out a little bit earlier, but it was reading 19 degrees when I first got up, which was at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I kind of fiddle farted around, and yeah, that's a technical term, real technical. And just kind of sat around and just sort of said, okay, well, what temperature will it be? Finally, it dropped another couple of degrees on the apps that I use. And I said, well, I don't expect it to drop any more than that. Let's go ahead and do this. So for Boris, I apologize because I know that I said 4 o'clock and I try to be pretty punctual. A little bit of it was setting up in the cold takes a tad bit longer. Oh. Boris, except for the fact that you can't handle the heat of Houston on a regular basis, I would say, come on and move in, brother. It's just too damn cold there in Finland. And you said you work in the medical field. Gotta tell you, Houston's got a great medical community. Problem is, we get up to 90 degrees in May. We pretty much stay there until November. I'm not sure what a polar bear would be able to do in this kind of heat other than it would be brutal. I have seen the heat here in Houston, the normal heat. It kills some people. good friend of mine moved to Buffalo, New York from here because after the third heat stroke, they told him if you have another one, you're going to die. So he moved out of Houston because his body just wasn't tolerating the heat. Surprisingly, no, the smoke is not turning into ice and falling straight from the pipe. Hey, we're up to 3 people. Howdy, y'all. Yeah, I look at the cup of coffee that is dead empty, and now the cup is so cold that I don't want to touch it again until I pick it up to go back inside. It's going to be a while. A little bit of ice on the ground. It stopped snowing yesterday as the clouds rolled out. The sun was up, so it started top and bottom layer heating because the ground here stays warm. Well, the ground here will stay warm forever. Oh, definitely, Boris. I definitely feel you there. Um, I'm hoping y'all get around to spring pretty soon and that the snow melt doesn't cause any major issues as it does here every year up around the plains areas. And I definitely understand that the cloudless days are the coldest days during winter. For anybody who doesn't understand that, with the clouds, you get a certain thermal layer that reflects heat back down. With no clouds, the heat continues to rise and there's nothing to stop it or reflect it back. And it gets up there high enough and it cools off enough and it just turns back to another thermal cycle of cold to drop straight back down at you. It's wonderful. Way back in the day, I wanted to be a meteorologist because I thought it had something to do with meteors, like space. Then I found out it was all to do about weather, and I had already learned enough to know that it was all about weather, but nobody told me it was all about weather. My dumbass had to figure that out the hard way. Oh. Whew. It is amazing how much warmer it feels with a pipe in my hand than it did yesterday with a cigar in my hand. My little fingers were frozen solid yesterday. Mike, you be careful. Definitely get some sleep. Hope your shoulder's feeling better. I know that's probably keeping you awake too. Don't worry. I'm going to stay safe because I'm going to be here on Thursday tailgating for Mike. Just me and Boris, the two polar bears. One of us looks a little bit closer to a shaved ape. Ooh, good grief. Boris, that level of temperature change is brutal. That could send a person into shock. I mean, that's damn near an 80-degree temperature change. When you think about that, that would be like going from literally 100 degrees outside to freezing. Your body can tolerate some amount of cold, you know, the change in temperatures that way, but in the space of 24 hours to get it that far of a cold change, your body just can't keep up with it. That's some dangerous temperature changes there. I know when it's cold like that, you can dress warm and you can get there. And there are other things you can do when it's that kind of cold. I mean, there's a way to make a snow cave and stay warm. Not exactly something I want to do, though. Mostly because, like I said, your body could go into shock doing that. Ugh. Whew. Oh, it must be 5 o'clock. My normal alarm just went off. Normally I'm up by this time in the morning. Just kind of trying to decide whether I'm going to actually do anything about the day or not. I normally only get 5 or 6 hours worth of sleep. So waking up at 3 really wasn't that big of an issue for me. This cold weather's killing me, though. It's outright painful to come out and get a smoke. but normal average temperature for this time of year is about 47. Put on a jacket, little knit cap, come outside, get yourself smoke. Right now it's put on damn near every piece of clothing I have, come out here and still be in pain. I can handle it. Being cold's not going to kill me. As I like to say, they ain't found a way to kill me yet. Not from lack of trying, though. Not from lack of trying. Still holding steady at 17 degrees Fahrenheit. In case y'all are wondering what I'm checking over there on my tablet. This is fun. This reminds me of hunting. Go up hunting deer. You dress warm. Sitting out there at the campfire first thing in the morning. Having a pipe or a cigar. And actually, deer tend to like pipes and cigars. They hate cigarettes, don't get me wrong. You smoke a cigarette and then you go deer hunting, you're hardly going to find anything. Smoking a pipe or a cigar, I've literally smoked a cigar in a deer stand and had a big ass buck walk right past me. I understand that, right. I wasn't sure that we just call it frozen snow, but y'all call it hanki. All right. So that's when you get the top layer of snow gets basically it turns to a frozen layer. But once it gets soft again, anything that's on top of it's just going to plummet right through it. And that's kind of a little bit dangerous when that happens because it ends up being a wet layer. Wet snow will make you sick quick because it'll get all your clothes wet. Actually had that happen one time during a hunting trip. Happened to me. Was walking along just fine. I thought it was just, maybe a couple of inches worth of snow, no big deal. But got past that spot where it was frozen well, and I went down almost all the way to my armpits. There I was, soggy from ankles to navel. Long, cold walk back. ended up sick as a dog. Lighter's too cold. It's all right. It's got a coal in it. I'm good. One good thing is when it gets this cold, you get a lot more oxygen. Things will tend to burn better. Maybe not superior, but Boris, I fully agree with you. Uh, Completely different type of fluid. So butane and propane type lighters, of course, are a pressurized gas. As they get colder, the pressure goes down. Whereas the Zippo is a fluid that is still a fluid at room temperature. Um, as temperature goes down on it, it might get a little thicker, but it won't turn any less flammable. And the wick will work quite well in the cold. It is one of the reasons why the Zippo lighter was one of the preferred lighters of the troops in World War II, and then that improved into Korea era, and then a lot of people figured out how to really customize them by the time Vietnam came around. I mean, there's other types of lighters out there that were similar, but Zippo, the type, the style of a Zippo, became the preferred because it always worked. It could be hot one day, it could be cold the next. You don't know where you were, how much mud and muck you were going to be slopping through. Zippo, as long as you had fluid in it, it's going to still catch fire. Well, fluid and flint. Got to make sure you got flint. I can believe it, Boris, that you're having a beautiful sunny day. I'm just having a dark morning. There's trees and sky behind me, but I can't see them through the screen. Of course, anybody who was here yesterday, they saw what I'm talking about. Uh-oh. It is officially colder. Down to 16 now. Woohoo! Ah, it feels cold. And maybe that's because it is cold. Of course, I'm going to go inside when this is done. It's going to be 60 plus degrees inside the house. It'll take me almost 15 minutes to shed out of all this layers, enough so that I can not sweat to death when I'm sitting around inside. But I figure any day that I'm up alive and breathing is a good day. Hmm. I don't know how you do it on a normal basis, Boris. This cold weather is even with all my layers on, and I know you don't layer up like I do, but you're acclimatized to it, I guess. Even with all these layers on, I'm still starting to feel some effects from the cold. It would actually be easier on me if I was up and moving around. Even just a brisk walk or something to help the body generate heat. Or if it was late enough in the day that I could work with tools, doing just about anything would help generate some heat. The coffee helped, but coffee disappeared inside of 10 minutes. Because it was starting to crystallize. Freeze-dried coffee right in your cup. So did y'all get to see, some of y'all, whoever might be seeing this later, got to see the previous video where I got to show y'all a lot of snow and stuff all over the ground? Just remember, this is Houston. We never get that. Never. So cheers to y'all who like to make fun of us extreme southern people who never see snow. We appreciate it, but some of us can handle it. for those real cold shamers, I am still inviting y'all to Houston in August for a Churchill or a Gordo, sitting outside 2 o'clock in the afternoon to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. No big deal. Just because it'll be completely the opposite of this. I was built for warm weather, damn it. And yes, I am looking forward to summer. I am looking forward to summer like crazy. I guarantee sometime this summer I'm going to sit out in the sun Boris, that is exactly the point I always try to make. As long as you can afford another layer of clothes, you can always add another layer of clothes. But in the heat, and once you get butt naked, there's no more layers you can take off. And nobody's going to get butt naked just to prove they can handle the heat. Mostly because the sun will French fry your ass if you do it. You'll be charred red and looking like a lobster. I got a cat at the door that thinks he wants out. He'll take one check of this cold and he'd turn around. I'm not even going to open the door. I feel bad for my cats though. They really do want out. They've been cooped up for 3 days now as it got colder and colder. But by noon tomorrow, it'll be up to around 50. Now it's supposed to briefly drop off back to below freezing on Thursday. But by next week, it'll be damn near 80 degrees. I promise to whoever's watching right now, you will see me in t-shirt and shorts sometime next week. And to anybody who's watching this on replay, you can watch for that video. It'll come out. It'll be there sooner or later. I can see somebody 100 years from now watching these things going like, what in the hell are these people talking about? There'll probably be permanent climate control. So I saw in the news that three things recently happened. Trump was acquitted, as I said he would be. So basically, Congress rolled a big old pile of money out in the middle of a floor, lit it on fire, watched it burn, where they could have just gone ahead and said, you know what, let's just cut a check to every last one of these Americans, send that money back to them instead of wasting this money. No, they felt it was more important to waste time and money. So that's what they did. Got to get 2/3 plus one to impeach. And if you're trying to impeach a private citizen, it makes it even harder, because you're only supposed to be able to impeach somebody who's in a position of power in a government. Private citizens aren't in a position of power. So what are you trying to do? You're going to open up a floodgate of really bad, stupid lawsuits that are just going to waste more money. I also saw in the news that Germany had a bad freeze that covered up almost all the solar panels that they installed, and literally ground their wind turbine generators to a halt. So, to all those people who are in for the Green New Deal type things, go back to the drawing boards and remember this week when the whole world watched America go into a deep freeze. And just remember that you still have to be able to get power from A to B. Even with coal and gas generation stations here in the Houston area, we have 1.2 to 1.4 million people that don't have power. Some of them will die. And then finally, another one that I saw in the news. These are just things that get me thinking. So don't look at this as I'm trying to be political one way or the other. Executive order, blah, 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 something about trying to make it so that firearms manufacturers can be sued if their weapon is used in a violent crime / mass shooting / suicide. It doesn't matter. If you open up that floodgate, let's look at it this way. Anybody who has a family member that dies because the power company couldn't get power to that person's home, if you open up that floodgate one way, how far is it going to take for it to open up the other way, where these people can now start suing the power company and the city and whoever owns the power lines and all of that, just so that they can, at least that's my take on it. People want to say, oh, well, let's start suing car manufacturers because they built a car and now it's been used in an accident, or it's been used to commit a crime or whatever. Well, there's ways that, yeah, you can look at it that way too, but the other side's going to say, oh, well, that's okay because you have to have insurance and a license for all that. Well, okay. Homeowners insurance covers firearms. So I've already got insurance. Concealed carry covers the license, so I've already got that. So I'm good. Well, right, Boris. Power company should be more quality than gun manufacturers. Well, here's the thing. When by your negligence you can affect more than 1 million people all at once, I don't know of any one single gun, short of some sort of thermonuclear weapon, which nobody has in the open market. That's all government controlled. Yeah, one pull of the trigger can affect 1.4 million people. If we start allowing people to sue the manufacturers or the suppliers for the acts of one person or for causes of nature, ain't nothing going to get done because everybody's going to be suing everybody for everything. That's just my take on it. I mean, maybe it won't get that way. But that executive order that's going to allow people to sue gun manufacturers for, and you're not going to win. Those gun manufacturers have way more money than a private citizen. Unless, of course, your name is Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates. Or if you're some prince in Saudi Arabia. Woohoo! There's my second alarm just in case I missed the first one, which rarely happens. It's now officially 5:30. Let me check to see what kind of temperatures I'm suffering through now. Did it drop again? Nope, still 16. Still 16. I do see a second person in chat. Howdy and welcome. Okay, Boris. Yeah, see, I figured we were just having a wording difference. Howdy, Phil. So glad you could meet us. I've already been in here an hour and 5 minutes, which means I've been outside for an hour and 15. You should have seen how fast I drank that cup of coffee. It is officially 16 degrees. I've shown that earlier. It hasn't changed any. It is pretty cold. I've got a feeling it's probably colder up there near Niagara Falls, but it's pretty cold for Houston. But hey, next week when I'm in t-shirt and shorts, and it's 70 degrees, I'm going to be loving it. Right now, my bad knee is hurting pretty good. For all of y'all who don't remember, I had a shattered kneecap a few years back. "25. Ooh, it's colder in Houston than certain parts of New York." That happens about once every decade. And I'm pretty sure from where you're at, you're probably having some falls effect snow, as well as regular snow at that temperature. Phil, oh, you missed Mike. He was having a almost sleepless night. I feel bad for him, because where I actually scheduled this to kind of go live at cold dark 30 for me. Boris, if you're smoking in shorts next week, uh, you win. Oh, I'm sure y'all get high wind off the lake. Like I said, I got friends right there in Tonawanda. They tell me all about it. They said the only time they don't get snow is when it's blowing so hard that it literally pushes it up and over past them, and then the next couple of communities over get just wiped. Which sounds kind of brutal. Hey, I think the sun's starting to come up. Just a little bit of light coming from that direction. Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Bill. Go ahead. Make jokes. You're invited in August. But you'll have to bring Bill. Is that like how Phil comes on and dumps on me for wearing 3 jackets, 5 shirts, sweatpants, and flannel and long johns and all that other stuff? Bill is in Florida right now. So, Bill's smart. So now we know Bill is actually Charlie. Okay. I might have to start this up. Bill's in Florida, but he's kind of from New York. Charlie's in Florida, but he's kind of from New York. I just don't see the grumpiness in Charlie that you claim Bill has. Just wondering. Snow higher than your car? Come on, that never happens. That's just a myth. There's pictures of snow as high as telephone poles. My mother-in-law has pictures of people climbing out their second floor windows and their dormers that are actually up on the third floor if you were to look at it. If the water came up high enough, he would. I think I am running low on tobacco in this pipe, though. Oh, yeah. Believe me, Phil, I know. And then if you're unlucky, you have to sweep the snow off of your house because it starts weighing too much. It'll actually cave in your whole roof. The smart people put a heating layer somewhere underneath the roof just so it can shed the snow. Just finished your pipe too. I don't blame you, Boris. If you're going inside, go inside. Don't worry about me. I'm going to finish this up soon enough. My toes are starting to hurt, which tells me I've been out here a while. That and the timer that says an hour and 14 minutes. I guess there's a little tobacco left in there. Of course, it is the General Cobb. Lots of icicles is bad news? Oh, because the heat from their house is actually going out through the roof and it's causing it to drip, which causes the long icicles. That means they're going to have to insulate like crazy. Lowest temperature Houston's ever had was 5 degrees. That is cinco. This year, I'm pretty sure it will be the 16 that I'm having right now. Unless, of course, it dropped a another degree. Which, no, it has not, but it looks weird. Houston all covered in a blanket of frost. Freeways shut down because it's too dangerous to drive on them. Pipes that won't stay lit because it's too damn cold. Yeah, what was that stupid rodent named Phil? Oh, yeah, yeah. You definitely have to keep the additive in your diesels if you've got a diesel. That stuff will gel up, and yeah, it's like trying to pull straight tar through your pipe. It's not going to go anywhere. And yeah, I keep a damn good mixture of antifreeze in my vehicles. Uh, if I ever got to go north for any reason, I'm not needing that to have a problem. Down here, the thing people mostly forget about is the washer tank for their windshield wipers. Um, they'll forget to put any additives into that, and then it'll bust on them. I've seen that on many of people. They'll just have this blue puddle at the front of their car, and they don't know where it came from. Sure enough, it's that washer. Well, down here in the Houston area, we don't get anything cold like this normally. So a lot of people forget you have to treat these things correctly. Most of the diesels around here, though, do have the engine block heater just to keep the diesel that's already in the engine from freezing so completely that they won't ever start again. See if I can't dump that top layer of ash out. Such a deep pipe sometimes it is. That's how to do it. I got a little coal in there. I got a lot of cold out here. But at least now I'm going to be able to point back to this video and tell those people who say I can't handle the cold that yes, I can. I just look like I've been swallowed by a balloon wearing jacket. Well, they'll have an hour and 30 minutes, or pretty close to an hour and 30 minutes of the ISPD, which is International Stupid People Day. Because I have to be stupid to be out here smoking this pipe in this kind of cold. It's supposed to be International Pipe Smoking Day. I think it's supposed to be IPSD, but hey, what do I know? It's all good, Phil. I appreciate it. Ooh, goodness. Literally 3 types of diesel. I will stick to gasoline if I can. I don't believe that 16 degrees Fahrenheit actually qualifies as extreme cold. Though it's colder right now in Houston than either Finland or New York. That's pretty cold. There's also warmer places in Canada than Houston right now. And I have finally struggled to the bottom of this oversized cob. Oh, goodness gracious. Gentlemen, I am going to go in and see if I can't break this coffee mug by pouring more coffee into it. And maybe unfreezing my little toes. And trying to have myself Boris, I understand why not. If you got that kind of cold, diesel is really a extra special problem in those kind of temperatures. So I'm gonna let you know I am hurting. It is cold. I wouldn't want to do this on a normal day. And I appreciate all of y'all who've caught me here live, and for anybody who wants to catch the replay or make crazy comments, y'all go ahead. I appreciate it. I'll comment back as much as I can, and I will see y'all in warmer climates further on, but I will be here on Thursday tailgating for Mike. Y'all be safe. Take care, as per always. Take care of yourselves and each other as best you can. Remember, we're the only ones we got. And, of course, as I always like to tell people, long lives big bowls and long ashes. Y'all take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye now. Oh, that hurts.